It's been really generative just to be here and sketch and draw, think, write, explore. It really was a leisure of time that I am so often not afforded in New York City. I am a mixed media artist. I typically work across sculpture and painting. I think a lot about the semiotics of materials, so I am really invested in thinking about how different materials carry different poetic associations and cultural meanings, personal allegories. I take a lot of inspiration from my own experiences as a gay Filipino man and kind of thinking a lot about how those kind of experiences can be conveyed in sort of assemblage-based installations and sculptures. Driving up along the highway and just seeing the dunes kind of crest over the horizon, and I was just immediately taken aback by the natural beauty of just seeing the ocean and the sky and, you know, water and sand for as far as you can see. And so that was my first impression. And then over the course of a few days, I kind of began to explore the town some more. And it really felt kind of like this little safe haven for, you know, creativity and artistic output. I think at this point in my creative trajectory, I really needed a time to reflect and write and think about my work as it's changing so fast, and I feel like this was the perfect place to do that. I've been working on a few different bodies of work since being in residence here. There actually have been explorations into mediums that I don't typically work in. So the first one I was doing was a series of just studies, so drawings on paper. And so I wanted to create little studies of objects that I find curious or melancholic, that carry some kind of emotional charge for me. The second body of work I was working on was a photographic series, and I never work in photos. This was a new experience for me. I really was interested in thinking about how Provincetown is this, you know, mecca for the queer community. People kind of pay this spiritual pilgrimage here in the summers mostly. And so it's kind of often thought of as a site of celebration and joyousness. And in the off-season, you kind of see it not so much in use. And I was wondering what happens to those spaces when they're not being activated by humans and patrons and stuff. So I went around the town and found spaces that have some kind of connection to queer history. And I photographed a bunch of confetti on the ground, but without any people in it. More time was picking up every single piece of confetti, because I was like, I'll be damned if I'm gonna litter in this place. So having to go around and pick up each piece after I took all the photos that was a lot. It took some time. But it was great seeing like just the different places and kind of, you know, going around and seeing all the different locations. And then the last piece that I was working on, which is a series of cold casted fig leaves. They are copper and bronze. And I photographed them on Boy Beach, which is a part of Herring Cove that is historically very gay and very, very clothing optional. And I was thinking about fig leaves specifically as an art historical symbol. They're so typically used in classical imagery as a covering for the genitals, and it kind of, to me, symbolizes this flimsy modesty or this prudishness. And when I think about Provincetown, I think about how it is a place where you can kind of be unabashedly yourself, whatever that means. And so I wanted to create this image that would suggest this shedding of inhibition. But I photographed it on the nude beach to kind of have a site-specific connection to where I was installing it and what these leaves mean as like a symbol of embodiment and coverage and just sort of that kind of idea of being yourself in community. So I really think it'll be a really impactful experience, and I think it'll yield returns, you know, years from now, I think, in ways that I don't really quite know yet. I think I'll look back on this time as being a really like pivotal point in my creative development for sure.